Hey guys, welcome to another Q&A. This is for 600,000 subscribers. I would just really like to quickly thank everybody for subscribing, the people that recently found this channel. I'm surprised that it's still growing so much, and I'm still really fulfilled and happy making videos, and I do see all of the comments that are very supportive, and I just want to say thank you for subscribing, for supporting the channel, and I'm glad that I was able to garner such a positive response. So I asked you guys to ask me some questions that you have. I usually do this anytime I hit another 100,000, so I'm gonna get right into some of these questions.
Today's video is sponsored by Endel. Are you feeling stressed and overwhelmed? Do you have trouble relaxing and finding peace of mind? Thankfully, there's Endel. Endel is a revolutionary app that uses AI and sound design to create personalized real-time soundscapes that help you relax, focus, and sleep better. Whether you're at home, at work, or on the go, Endel has you covered with its seamless integration into your daily routine. But don't just take my word for it. Brainwave studies show that Endel provides the fastest, most consistent focus versus other playlists on streaming platforms. I personally use it to reduce stress and increase productivity, and also help me sleep. This makes it the perfect tool for anyone looking to improve their overall well-being. So why wait? Download Endel today and start feeling more relaxed and focused in no time. Trust us, your mind and body will thank you. The first 100 people to download Endel at the link in the description will get a free week of audio experiences.
So Lope asks, do you have a definitive list of books that you think everyone should read? So I think when it comes to reading lists, it's really good to just pursue whatever you're interested in, and from that you can then kind of jump from book to book, author to author, depending on your preferences. So I think it would be a little bit too bold of me to say that everybody should read these books, but if I had to choose, I would say Mihai Csikszentmihalyi's Flow. I think that book really had a huge effect on me. It made me kind of rethink why I do certain things. It's very much a book that emphasizes the idea of like autotelic motivation. So you're doing things in order to just do them. It's the activities are fulfilling in themselves. And I think a lot of the times we get caught up in aspiring for extrinsic things, like in order to get a certain amount of money or power or something, when usually we derive joy from these kind of flow activities, these things that kind of that lead to us kind of like losing ourselves and our sense of time and everything. Second book I would recommend is The Myth of Normal, which I recently read by Gabor Mate, and I think it's just overall a very comprehensive look on kind of the psychological state of the world. It really refers to a lot of different studies, a lot of fields of thought. It's very hard to describe specifically what the book is about other than pretty much everything. And I think anybody that's like concerned about the mental health crisis, the state of politics, the environment, I think it's a very good book to read, and especially if you're interested in trauma and addiction. And then finally, I would suggest Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse, which is just a brilliant little novel filled with amazing allegories, and I think it really captures a lot of kind of what I think about the self and what I think about the idea of enlightenment, and a lot of the kind of wisdom in the book has really kind of stood the test of time for me, at least. So those three books. Bailey Lee asks, what's been your best moment so far in general from getting to talk to so many people about different points of philosophy? So I think it would have to be between either FD Signifier, when we were talking about masculinity. I especially liked his message at the end to young men that feel kind of a little bit hopeless or a little bit worthless, and that they shouldn't have to like think that they need to achieve so much at such a young age. And then also I quite liked when I asked John Vervaeke how he thinks we could solve the crisis of meaning on a collective level, and he gave very kind of solid practical answers that involved, better education, dialogic thinking, or dialogic communication, I think he mentioned, and I think D1 electoral reform. I can link the timestamps to both of these specific topics in the description. Vivian asks a few questions. What is your perspective on religion and faith? What is your Myers-Briggs type, and what is your favorite film? So the religious one, that's obviously a really huge question. I think when I was younger, I was very dismissive of religion, and but now I really do think that there's kind of there is a spiritual dimension to the human condition that I think if we neglect, you can see kind of really bad social and psychological consequences. I think it's hard to, take out what's useful in religion and discard the stuff that has led to a lot of abuse and discrimination and so forth. So I think when it comes to like faith and religion, I usually kind of like Gabriel Marcel's idea of strange hope, of that sort of like hoping for something without an objective at the end, like it's just that pure hope. I think that characterizes a lot of sincere forms of faith. So when it comes to Myers-Briggs, I don't like the Myers-Briggs test at all. It's not very empirically valid. It's come up a lot recently just in discussions with people. And so I did end up taking it, and I took 3 different tests, and they all gave me ENFP. And you guys can do with that information what you will. What is my favorite film? I've said this before. It's Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. It's definitely not one of Wes Anderson's greatest. It has a lot of pacing issues, but rewatched it so many times and I really like it. Aaron asks, what are some things you would recommend to people who are struggling with mental health? Is there anything you did that really helped you get through hard times? And how are you doing mentally right now? Are you happy? So when it comes to mental health advice, obviously, I don't think I'm going to give you anything that's like super, surprising. Like if you can, go see a therapist, reach out to people, making sure that you're doing kind of the bare minimum of things that do have an effect on your mental health. Your mind and body are related. And if you're not eating properly, you're not exercising, you're not getting enough sunlight, socializing, feeling like you're actually doing something worthwhile, challenging yourself, that can actually have a huge effect on your mood and your personality and your day-to-day. So it's good to maybe in a journal keep track of just, are you doing these kind of simple things? And if not, could you change them somehow? Yeah, and I'm happy right now. Yeah. What's your perspective on people's response to grief? I really like Freud's idea of it being this anger turned inwards, because you realize how much the person that's now gone that you loved had so much power over you. You can kind of come to resent them or be angry at them, but because they're gone, you now just can only be angry at yourself. I don't think there's any evidence for this necessarily, but I think it's just a very beautiful kind of concept or idea of how to characterize grief. Okay, what's your most favorite video that you created? I would say either dislike this video or journey into the manosphere. Dislike this video was just very fun because it was kind of conveying ideas in a way I found very entertaining and novel, and I kind of had this idea for a long time to make a video where I'm telling people to dislike it, but I didn't really know about the execution or anything, or I couldn't really come up with like a kind of cool idea for it. I used the Wednesday Addams scene to kind of give it a pop culture kind of connection that would draw people in. And I don't know, it just felt like something that was like everything just kind of came together with that one, and I was just really happy with it. Plus the kind of able to use the aesthetic of kind of Addams Family, Tim Burton vibes in order to talk about some, very technical academic stuff. And the Manosphere video, it was just very fun because it was a lot of research into a topic that is, not easy to talk about. But I feel like I came out of the research with a greater understanding and greater compassion for, non-binary people, LGBTQ+, and also greater, I think, awareness of masculinity and how it's kind of dictated my life and what that concept means, and how it's portrayed in a lot of media. And I was very happy with the response that a lot of people had. And once again, it was fun to use the aesthetic of Life Aquatic in order to convey the ideas in that. So those were my two favorite. I like making most of the videos, though. They're all a blast to make. And then Electric Snowman asks, on your video titled "Dislike this video," how many people disliked the video? And this was one point I actually wanted to add to that video, was how the whole idea of like the likability of art and content has become, more and more obvious lately. And I think this is very, the most apparent example, and I can't believe I missed this, was the fact that YouTube removed the dislike button. So you can't, you can dislike things, but you can't see how many dislikes there are. I think this is just further evidence for that. Even disliking things could be seen as painful. So ironically, I told people to dislike the video, but you actually can't see how many dislikes there are. And I think it's around 10,000 dislikes. I'll leave a screenshot, but it was also interesting because the algorithm initially, because dislikes are registered as like engagement, the video shot up. It was doing super well. It was doing insanely well. And then it took about a day for the algorithm, I think, to realize that the engagement was, at least it was reading it as entirely negative. So it just plummeted in views immediately within 24 hours, which that was interesting. It was a good experiment. And I thank everybody that disliked the video, even though they said in the comments that they did not want to. That was appreciated. So those are my answers to the questions. Thank you everyone who subscribed. Thanks everyone that wrote questions, even ones that I wasn't able to get to. Thanks for your continued support.